Tonight, when you wake at 2 or 3 in the morning and can't fall back asleep, you'll lie there in the dark, sure something's wrong with you. But your body might be doing exactly what it did around campfires for hundreds of thousands of years. That feeling isn't a glitch. For most of human history, it was the plan. This is about what ancient humans actually did with the dark. The answer is stranger and more human than you'd expect. Most people assume our ancestors just slept dusk to dawn, one long, unbroken night. That's the obvious guess. But the evidence tells a different story. We'll cover 3 things: what fire created at night, what people did with those hours, and a sleep discovery almost nobody connects to their own life. Start with fire, because without it, none of the rest exists. Somewhere between 400,000 and 1 million years ago, humans learned to control it. Fire didn't just cook food. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham argued that cooking reshaped the human brain itself. It scared off predators. Then it did something quieter and stranger. It extended the day. Before fire, when the sun went down, you stopped. Every primate did. You found a safe spot and waited for morning. Moving in the dark meant becoming food. Our eyes are terrible next to the animals that hunted us. Leopards, hyenas, lions could all see fine. For hundreds of thousands of years, darkness was a wall. Then fire punched a hole through it. Suddenly there were hours that had never existed. 2, 3, 4 extra hours a night across thousands of generations. And what did people do with them? Here's where it gets interesting because we have data. Anthropologist Polly Wiessner studied the Jutwasi Bushmen of the Kalahari, one of the last groups still living close to the original pattern. She found that when firelight extended the day, the stories told around it helped drive human social and cultural development. But the detail that stuck with me was the split between day talk and night talk. Day talk was practical matters and gossip. Night talk evoked something else: imagination. The dark didn't just change when people talked, it changed what they could talk about. Each family had its own hearth, but at night they converged on a single fire. Groups of up to about 15 people. 15 faces, one flame, that's the scale of the ancestral night. Not a crowd intimate enough to read every face. And that number matters. Evolutionary psychologist Robin Dunbar found our closest circles have always clustered around this same small scale, the people we actually know and trust. A circle of 15 isn't arbitrary. It might be the exact social unit our minds were built for. And that may be why firelight still feels different today. Something in us responds to it because something in us was built around it. Around those fires, the stories covered hunts, marriages, deaths, feuds, distant places, myths of how the world began, ancestors, spirits, neighbors, the kinds of stories that bind people into a group, plus news of distant trading partners and the wider world. Storytelling around the fire wasn't entertainment. It was the original social infrastructure. The campfire was the first classroom, the first place of worship, the first theater, all in one circle of light. Here's the part that should stop you. Among the Agta hunter-gatherers in the Philippines, anthropologist Andrea Migliano asked a simple question. When people named who they most wanted to live with, the most sought after weren't the best hunters. They were the storytellers. Being a great storyteller counted twice as much as being a great hunter. The skill that kept everyone connected mattered more than the one that kept you fed. Imagination built around a fire in the dark may have been the most important survival technology we ever developed. Now keep that in mind, because here's the sleep thing, and it's the one that changes how you see yourself. We assume sleep is simple. Get tired, go to bed, sleep until morning. But historian Roger Ekirch spent years in old diaries, court records, and medical texts, and found something strange. The solid 8-hour block is an Industrial Revolution invention. Sleep only consolidated into one stretch as artificial light and factory schedules reshaped life in the 1800s. For most of history, the pattern was biphasic. People went to bed around 9 or 10, slept 3 to 4 hours in a first sleep, woke after midnight for an hour, then took a second sleep until dawn. An hour of wakefulness right in the middle of the night every night for essentially all of human history. And it wasn't treated as insomnia. Families rose to tend chores, visit neighbors, make love, pray, and above all, reflect on the dreams they'd just woken from. There were prayer manuals from the late 1400s written specifically for those hours between the two sleeps. An entire slice of human life existed in a window we've erased. A 16th century French doctor's manual told couples the best time to conceive wasn't the end of a long day, but after the first sleep when they had more energy. Physicians didn't just tolerate the waking window, they recommended it. The middle of the night wasn't dead time, it was prime time, and it connects to dreams. Because people woke straight out of first sleep, they caught vivid dreams that would have slipped away by dawn. We sleep straight through now and lose most of ours. Pre-modern people woke up inside them not because their brains differed, but because their nights were built to catch it. If you've ever woken at 3 a.m., heart calm, mind clear, lying in a strange, quiet alertness, that's probably not anxiety. It's your body doing what it did for 100,000 years. And we know this because someone tested it. In the early 1990s, psychiatrist Thomas Wehr took people into the lab. He put them in 14 hours of darkness a day for a month. At first, their sleep struggled to adjust. But by the fourth week, a distinct two-phase pattern emerged on its own. 4 hours of sleep, 1 to 3 hours awake, then 4 more. And the middle window was calm. His team measured melatonin, the hormone your brain releases in darkness, and found their cycles shifted to match. So the pattern isn't just behavioral, it's hormonal. He also found prolactin, a calming hormone tied to the drowsy state between sleeping and waking, rose in that middle hour. The watch period, as some call it, wasn't restless. It was chemically calm. Nobody told them to. Put people in natural darkness, and within weeks, the ancient pattern comes back on its own. Wehr concluded that biphasic sleep is the most natural pattern and beneficial rather than a form of insomnia. The old night is still coded into your body. Electric light just overrides it. Your circadian rhythm, the internal clock governing sleep and hormones, is still running the ancient program. We just keep interrupting the broadcast, so pull this together. Ancient humans didn't passively endure the dark. Fire gave them hours no other animal had, and they filled them with the things that make us human: stories, connection, imagination, ritual. The night was where culture was assembled, story by story, fire by fire, and when the stories wound down, they didn't crash into unconsciousness. They slept in 2 waves with a quiet hour between to dream, reflect, pray, and be with whoever was beside them. We came in asking what ancient humans did at night for 100,000 years. The answer? The most human things imaginable. They told each other who they were. They made sense of the world in the dark, and they slept in a rhythm our bodies still remember. So next time you wake at 3 a.m. and can't fall back asleep, don't fight it. Lie there. Let your mind wander. Somewhere behind you, a long line of ancestors did exactly the same. They did it every single night, and they considered it completely normal, maybe even sacred. The only thing that changed is that we decided the dark wasn't worth anything anymore.